A little more groundwork here, just to help you understand what you're going to be asked to do. For this to work for you, you don't have to do or be the following. First off, you don't have to prove to somebody that the Bible is the Word of God before you share these lessons with them or do the 4 lessons with them. All the years I've been doing this, I have never tried to prove that the Bible is the Word of God to somebody before I take them through these 4 lessons. I'm not even sure I could do that, but I have experienced this. I'm not trying to prove the Bible is the Word of God to them, but I'm wanting to show them what it says. The Word of God will speak for itself, and I've seen this happen in the lives of every conceivable kind of person on the face of the earth that I've done these studies with. If they hear the gospel, they hear the Word of God, it will speak for itself. Next thing, you don't have to have a great testimony to share. I've discovered over the years most Christians don't think they have much of a story, especially if they're raised in the church and cradle roll in Sunday school and they've gone through all that and they've never lived a crazy wild life. They don't feel they have a testimony. But you don't have to have a great one to be able to share these lessons. I think I have an interesting story how I became a Christian, but I rarely share it with people in an effort to be able to share the gospel or these 4 lessons with them. You don't have to be able to debate every subject under the sun, evolution and abortion and the Muslim faith and the Mormon faith and you don't have to be able to do that. You don't have to be an expert on everything to be able to share these 4 lessons. You don't have to become a friend with the person before you share the gospel with them. I've heard over the years some have suggested if you can only do this with somebody who's a friend. That's not true. Most of the people I've shared these lessons with, I'd never met before the time we set up the studies. Now, we need to be friendly with everybody, respectful and gentle and courteous, but I don't have to be their friend before. Now, oftentimes I've seen people come to Christ through this and we end up becoming lifelong dear friends. So that can happen. You don't have to have the gift of evangelism to be able to do this with people. Do you understand the fact there's no gift of evangelism spoken of in the New Testament? There are evangelists, but there's no gift of evangelism. We are all ambassadors for Christ. Now, some who are evangelists, those are people who travel around, they preach in many different places. But that's not what all of us do. Not all of us are evangelists. But there's no gift of evangelism. So I don't have to have the gift of evangelism to be able to do this. You don't have to be outgoing, an extrovert, dynamic, a life of the party, popular, rich. You don't have to be a powerful leader, an intellectual thinker. You don't have to be a philosopher or a theologian or a great scientist. You don't have to be an apologist who knows how to defend the faith and the Bible and the resurrection, all these. You don't have to be a powerful speaker. You don't have to be a great ministry builder where you can build a big nonprofit organization or a big congregation. You don't have to be a smart scientist who can discuss evolution with everybody. You don't have to be a great writer, debater. You don't have to be a Bible scholar. You don't have to be talented. I can't sing, I can't dance, I have no rhythm. I'm not known for that, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to be popular or talented in that way to be able to do it. You don't have to be perfect to be able to do this. In case you didn't already know this, you aren't. You aren't perfect. I'm not perfect. And we never will be perfect in all of our ways in this lifetime. So if you're not accustomed to that, you need to study the New Testament a little bit more and get over it and get used to it. Now, we're perfect in God's sight, and that leads to our salvation. You will hear about that in the 4th of the 4 lessons. But day to day, we're not going to be perfect in this lifetime. Always. Seeking perfection, yes. Growing and maturing, definitely. Seeking to be holy for God, avoiding sin, without a doubt. But you don't have to wait until you're perfect in everything to be able to share the gospel, or you'll probably never share it. Now I have a few friends who are like peacocks. If you've ever seen a peacock, peacocks are like flamboyant. If you've ever heard them call out, they're loud. And And if a peacock's around and it opens its tail up, everybody is oohing and eyeing. Oh, look at that. Look at those beautiful colors and that huge tail. And get your camera, get a picture of this. And let me see if I can get a selfie with this peacock back here. I have a few friends who are like peacocks. And but most of us are like I was when I became a Christian. I was quiet, shy, timid, reserved, insecure, scared of people, any new situation. I got the dry heaves when I walked into any new situation. Going back to school after Christmas break, gagging, dry heaves the whole way. Sports, sitting on the bench, gagging before the event took place. Going to a dentist for the first time, a new dentist, gagging the whole way. Having to get up and give a speech someplace, whew, that was unheard of. I just thought I'd gag in 8th grade graduation. I didn't make it to the stage with all the other students. I broke off and went to the nurse's office. I was gagging. So when I became a Christian, I said, well, God, I can't, be a witness for you and share the gospel with other people if I'm gagging all the way through it. So I started praying, God, could you please take this away from me? Well, I wanted to go to bed at night and wake up in the morning and be like a peacock. It has never happened. And what I've discovered, though, is as I learned what we're going to be sharing with you, I came out of my shell. I gained confidence. I'm still a turtle. I'm not a peacock. I always like to say, I'm the kind of guy, if I walk in a room where there's a bunch of my friends and they're sitting over doing something at a table, they'll usually hear the door and look up and say, oh, hi, John, how you doing? Now, what were we doing here? I have other friends, so they'll walk in the room and everybody will see who they're. Oh, Tim! Sorry, guys, I'm going to go talk to Tim. I'm a turtle. I'm still a turtle, but I'm okay with being a turtle. God uses turtles. But when I learn how to do what we're going to train you in this process, if you're a turtle, you can come out of your shell. Excuse me. If you're a peacock, this will be good for you too, because you can't depend on your personality to win everybody to Jesus. And they shouldn't become a Christian because you're so dynamic. They should become a Christian because they hear the gospel. So this will serve all of us to gain more confidence in how to work with people. Just my own story as a turtle. As I've learned how to use this tool, God has given me the opportunity to share the gospel with every kind of person on the face of the earth. People who come to church, but way beyond that. People I've met out in the community. I've been able to share the gospel with intellectuals, with scientists, with PhDs, with doctors, with dentists and chiropractors, with criminals, with hitmen, with cab drivers, with playboys, and with transvestites and gays and university students, street people, drug addicts and alcoholics, Satanists, religious people, atheists, prostitutes, singles living together, people who are seeking to become a god. Now, what I've discovered is everybody is going to pick up something to attach themselves to in life until they get a better offer. And so I'm not surprised that people are in all kinds of movements and pursuits in life and materialism and getting more money and becoming popular, famous, and until they get a better offer as to how to really find life. They'll pursue that to the nth degree, to their death. But once they find out about Jesus, they can see a life change take place in them. So we have the opportunity to do this. And so a turtle has been equipped, and God has given me the opportunity to sit down and share the gospel with all kinds of people, one-on-one with them, most of them in their homes. And I've seen some amazing stories of people coming to Christ. And you will too when you're prepared.